Okay, so it seems the chef server is not up yet. Let's try to log into the server first. Okay, Vagrant SSH. Meanwhile, let me see whether this is up or not. Okay, Vagrant SSH. Vagrant. Okay, so we can restart the server if you want. So let's try to restart the server once. So to restart, just make use of the sudo chef reconfigure. Okay, let it go on. Meanwhile, we'll set up the workstation, guys. Okay, so I'm choosing this as my workstation. ifconfig. So 192.168.16.10. So to set up the workstation, just follow the instructions what are provided over here. Come down. So working station or working, what is it? Here, workstation setup. Install the development kit with the normal user having the source. Same like, we have to download the one RPM file. So this is what the SDK file. Typically for workstation, we need to download the SDK file. So instead of downloading it, I have that SDK file. So I'll try to copy that. Softwares to chef SDK. Can you see this SDK? So this file we'll try to copy to the server. SCP vagrant at the rate 192.168.16. Meanwhile, let me see how it is going on. The server startup is still going on. Okay. Now come back to your server, your workstation. So in workstation, once it is, you have SDK now. Installing SDK is same procedure, sudo RPM. Okay. Try to run this command. Copy. Now SDK is being installed over there. So meanwhile, let me check what is the status of this. Okay, server reconfiguration is done. Now let me try to access chef.mycompany.com. Here you go. Okay. In case if your machine goes down, then you can make use of bringing up your Vagrant instance and all that. Now, so once you follow the workstation instructions now. So once this is done, verify this command whether chef version is working or not in the workstation. So it is still going on. Just wait for it to be completed. Okay, this is done. Chef version. Right, it's working absolutely fine. It's chef -- version. So the SDK kit should be 0.10.0. Okay, if you want, you can check with the version which is downloaded, 0.10.0. Now once this is done, so it will check the chef client and bugs and kitchen, all of them. Okay, so these are all the components installed with SDK. So we'll be using all of them, guys. Bugs will use, chef client will use, chef development kit will use, okay, kitchen will use. Next, what is there in the document? This is what output you see it. Yes, come down a bit. Now log into your chef server. Okay, we already logged in here. Now we are in the chef server. Now here what you are supposed to do, go to the administration section. Okay, now click on your organization ID, and here in this organization ID you can find the starter kit. Can you see starter kit here? And try to download the starter kit. Your user organization keys will reset. Yes, it will download a zip file for you. Okay, now it's successfully downloaded a starter kit. Can you see this? Don't do anything else. Okay, now what you're supposed to do, copy the starter kit from your machine to your workstation. Nice, it's copied there. Now go back to your workstation. Now you have a copy of a starter kit. Okay, try to unzip it. Chefs. Oops, unzip command is not there. Let me try to install the unzip twice. Install unzip. Okay, yes. Right. So now unzip it. Right. So once it is unzipped, it will create a directory called chef repo. Can you see this? Now come back to your document again. Now can you see this? When you unzip the starter kit, you should be able to see chef repo directory. Now get into the directory. Chef repo. Okay. Now once you get into the directory, now what you are supposed to get the key from the chef server at below location and copy the. Okay. Now let me show you what you are supposed to do. Okay. So run this command inside your chef repo. Knife SSL check. It tries to connect to your chef server, but actually it will not connect. The reason it is, in your server, the chef.mycompany.com should be reachable. Okay, can you able to ping this chef.mycompany.com? mycompany.com. You cannot. Unknown. Okay, so to make it as a known, what you're supposed to do, you go to your host. Okay, inside this host, what you do it, whatever the DNS you're trying to make it right, 192.168.15.10. This is what your chef server. Make it as chef.mycompany.com. Okay. Now you try to ping it, it will ping. Okay. Right. Now you try to run the knife SSL. Check. Okay. You see another error now. So this error, it clearly says here to fix this error. Can you see this? So to fix this error, you have to copy. Okay. So you have to copy this file in your server. In your chef server, you try to copy this CRT file to your workstation. Now go back to your chef server and this, just try to move at this location. Okay, you cannot go without the sudo access. Sorry, make it as a sudo su. Okay. Check it out. Can you see the CRT file? My company chef CRT file. Now server hosted nothing but your server, nothing your server, which is chef.mycompany. So this file needs to be copied to your workstation. So chef repo, where it will be in your workstation, there is a folder called .chef. Okay, and you need to create a folder called trusted certs. Okay, so please cross check whether you have a .chef. Yes, it is there. Whether it's our trusted, no, it is not there. So try to create this folder, trusted certs. Okay, so get into the .chef and mkdir trusted certs. Okay, get into the trusted certs. Now this is empty folder. In this location, you have to copy this file from your chef server. So let's try to copy that. Okay, so copying this is pretty simple. You come back here, sep chef crt vagrant at the date 192.168.16.10. At what location? This is what the location. Yes, vagrant. Right, it's copied successfully now. Once it is copied, come back to your chef repo. Okay, now you try to run knife SSL check and see. Right now, did you see this message? Successfully verified your certificates from this. Okay, which is nothing but your workstation could able to establish a connection to your server. So nothing but what I did till now is I'm trying to establish a connection to my server. Okay, this one. Just a second, guys. Hello. Yep. So just a second, guys. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish a connection from workstation to the chef server. Okay, so that the guys, I mean, who are working on the workstation, once they prepare their cookbooks, they can upload it easily to the server. So this was the first step once you install the chef workstation. So with this, we are done with the workstation setup. It's pretty simple workstation. It's not that time taking one. Okay, now once this is done, next stuff is to setting up the nodes. But setting up the nodes, you don't need to do anything. Okay, so your chef bootstrap commands will take care of it. Okay, so what is the bootstrap and all, we'll see it later. But at this point of time, okay, once you have these two things, you can start working on the chef basics. Okay, let's try to learn the basic. Now installation is done, let's try to learn the basics of the chef. Okay, so So let's see some basics of the chef. Now you know what is the architecture of the chef and all. So let's see some basic. Okay. Whenever it comes to the basics part, you have to understand, okay, how we prepare the scripts. Okay, how do we automate the things? So before doing all those things, you should learn some like the terminology of the chef. Okay. Now I was talking when I was telling so workstation, server, node. So from yesterday I was telling you these three words. Now after explaining the architecture and how they interlink, then you understand what is a chef server, what is a workstation, what is a chef node. Okay. Similarly, there is a different terminology in the chef while you work with the chef scripts. Okay. So those are mostly we call as the resources, okay, actions, okay, and recipes, okay, cookbooks, okay, and before, okay, once these are done, then chef apply, okay, chef client, okay, bootstrap, and knife, right? So these are all the buzzwords you will be learning one by one. Okay. Now at this point of to verify in a chef server, right? Okay, in a chef workstation, especially workstation, to verify whether SDK is installed or not, this command should work. Chef hyphen help. Okay. If this command is working, nothing but the first command which you learn is the chef. Okay. If this command is working nothing but SDK install. Okay. And there's one more command is there called knife. Okay. Knife help. So typically this knife command will be used to, okay, communicate to server, your chef server. Okay. So knife is having n number of options. Each command has n number of options, guys. Okay. So you can do the bootstrap, you can create the certificates, you can do so many things with the knife, right? So that's a knife. So let's get into the knife and all later. So there is one more important command is the chef apply. Okay. So what is chef apply is, it will run the given scripts on local machine. Okay. What do you mean by running the given scripts on local machine? Is suppose I wanted to run a shell script. How do you run the shell script, guys? sh abc.sh. So abc.sh is a script and sh is your shell, right? Now here chef apply is a kind of a shell. Okay. So chef apply will run okay, the abc script file, chef script file on your local machine, on your machine itself. Okay. That's called the chef apply. Now once you know what is a chef SDK and once you know what is a chef apply, so to run all of them you must and should have SDK installed, guys. Without SDK you cannot do anything. Okay. So first let's start from the beginning. Okay. I have documented this from very basics, guys, so you can just have a look at it here. So first launch an instance. Okay, this is for the cloud actually, this you can ignore it. Now you should have workstation first, and this is what the official documentation for each and everything. So resources, let's start with the resources. Okay. So if you're doing any kind of an automation, right, okay, especially with the system, see, we are the kind of guys who do the system automation. Okay. So resource is a system thing. Okay. Example, I would say a file is a resource, a directory is a resource, okay, a username is a group, okay, a template file, okay, and a scheduling a cron. So these are all called system resources. Okay. So in chef, if you want to play around with these things, okay, suppose example I want to create a directory, right? So directory is a resource, creating is an action. That's what I mentioned over here. Okay. Example for both of them, let's talk resource and actions together. Okay. Example, a directory is a resource, okay, and create or delete or rename, whatever, these are all the actions. Okay. So whenever you're using a directory resource directly, right, there will be a default action for every resource. There will be a default action which is a create. Okay. This is a default action. Okay, so whenever you're using the resource directory resource, right, you just use it. You don't have to mention create it automatically creates. Suppose if you want to delete a directory, then you have to explicitly mention the action, right? This is an example with respect to one resource called directory. Similarly, you have n number of resources, okay, in a chef, and those are all mentioned over here in chef basics. Can you see directory is nothing but it's you can find somewhere here, yeah, directory. Okay, manage the directories on a node, nothing but on a node, nothing but on a server. Okay, so package is a package nothing but a software package like HTTPD, like you just now installed a unzip, right? That's a package. And service nothing but like a Windows service, like you're running some service in the background. Okay, so service is also a resource. So these are all the resources available. If you want a well documentation about the resources in the chef, you just go to this link. You can find really nice documentation of all the resources. Okay, can you see one by one all the resources here? See, first directory. Okay, and once the directory is defined, then the directory they will give an example as well how to define it. Okay, in a script. Then again, it's a type, a package. Okay, so you have like a big list. These are all, see, file, okay, execute, git. There's so many are there, but I mention only few of them, guys. If you get a chance to, like, work on the rest of them, you can just go through this document and you can make use of it. Okay, so come back to our scripts. So now let me give you an example how to create a resource. Okay, so before creating a resource, okay, so all these resources actions will be written in a file called a .rb file. Okay, this .rb file is also called as a recipe, guys. Okay, so to run to run these resources with their actions, okay, we have to put them in a file. So let's try to put create a resource. Now go to the workstation. Right, now what I will do, get into the chef repo. Okay, now hello.rb, this is what my recipe. Okay, so here the script now onwards, see, a recipe nothing but nothing else, it's a script. Okay, so especially in chef, right, the recipes contains the resources and their actions. That's it, simple thing. Okay, so now here in this recipe, now onwards I'll call this as a recipe, no more scripts. Till now I'm talking as a scripts. Now I'll say it's a recipe. So in this recipe, now I'll try to add a simple resource. There is nothing like a programming language start, void start, main, and blah blah blah, nothing. So you will be directly using the resources like this. Okay, I'm using the file resource, guys. Okay, so say like hello.txt. So this in single quotes, whatever you mentioned, that is what the file name. Okay, and do end are like start and close ending of your file resource. Now in this file resource you want to add some content. Okay, so let's say like hello, this is a DevOps session, some content. Now what will happen, if you save this file and run it, okay, your recipe will execute that resource. Okay, it will create a file with that content. If you wanted to know the syntax of it sorry, in the same page you can find somewhere file resource. Did you see file resource anywhere? Yeah, here, file. What is the syntax, guys? Your file path and your content. Okay, and see, these are all optional. If you want to give a permissions to your file, you can give it. Otherwise it will take the default permissions. Okay, and it will take the default username, it will take the default group. So these are all the kind of optional. So mostly like this first line and the last line and the content are the kind of a mandatory ones. Okay, so you can find, see, this guy also given only few of them, but that file resource has these many actions. These are all the actions, guys, remember. Okay, so think about it, how many actions are there? These are all like will be useful, sometimes useful, sometimes may not be useful, but mostly like I like who's are writing the script, the main concept of creating a file with some content. Okay, so I have written a simple hello.rb file to print something on a hello.txt. Okay, Now, once you have a recipe, which with a resource and an action defined in a recipe, how do you run it? Okay, so to run that, I mean, I want to run it in the local. I don't know what is the chef server node and all at the moment. I'm just learning some basic terminology of it. Okay, so to run that, as I said, to run any recipe in the local, okay, chef apply, it will run the given scripts. Now instead of scripts, let me call it as a recipes. Okay, on your local machine, as you were in your machine, it will run these recipes. Okay, so chef apply hello.rb. Before running that, guys, can you see, do you have hello.txt here? It's not there. Now I'm trying to run the chef apply hello.rb. Look at this, it is executed your recipe. Okay, and as per recipe, it is trying to create a new file called hello.txt. Okay, with the content like, whatever you written inside. Okay, hello, this is the DevOps session. Now please cross check ls. Can you see hello.txt created somewhere? Yes, here it is created. Okay, and you can see like, hello.txt has been created with the same username password. Okay, and it is created with the default permissions. If you want to change the permissions, as I said, follow this document. You try to provide like, more and whatever the permissions you want to give it. Okay, now check out the content of the file hello.txt. Does it have like, hello, this is the DevOps session, right? So this is a simple example of creating a file using the chef recipe. Guys, any questions still here? Were you able to follow? Hemant and Jagan, did you understand how I created a simple recipe with one resource and an action, a file resource? Did you get it?
Yeah, yes.
So yeah, so it's not only one resource, you can keep multiple resources. Okay, I want to create multiple files, so you can put multiple files. Now I can just copy paste the same resource. Now let me call it as a hello1.txt, something like this. Okay, okay, you try to observe this time how it will execute. Once a resource is there and it is up to date, right? The chef will not perform that action again. You look at this. The first hello.txt action create default see action create, it's a default action creating. Okay, is up to date, which is already created and up to date, and hello one is not there, so it is creating it. Now you try to run the same command, it will not do it for both of them because both are available. So in chef apply, right, in chef apply or chef client, whatever, it will never perform if an action and a resource is already executed on your machine. Okay, so it says up to date, up to date. But if you try to change some content, okay, suppose now I'm changing content, star, I just included some star, okay, some content I included. Now save it. Now you try to run it again. Now there is some change in your recipe. Okay, so it will look at this. Once there is a change, right, it will try to run that. See this? It is applied the new content. Okay, now if you try to run it again, no change. That is from the script side. Now let me try to delete these files. Hello 1.txt, okay, and hello.txt. See, once you delete it, it will run now this time because it doesn't exist actually. See, so this is how typical a chef command executes the recipes. Okay, if a recipe is already executed, everything is updated, it will never execute again. Okay, if there is some change, then it will execute it. Right, that's about a simple resource called file. Now let me show you another resource called directory. The same thing is there. Chef apply hello. This document will really helpful for you. Okay, now the same resource. Okay, I said different actions, right? Now default action is a create. Now I want to perform some different action, delete action. Okay, so the same actions you can find it somewhere here. Action. Okay, so here is the actions. Can you see this? What are all the actions available? Create, create if missing, delete, nothing, touch. So create is what? Default. This default will execute it. Now what I wanted to do it. So just go to your SDK. Try to open action. Okay, delete, right? Apply, right? Can you see delete file hello1.txt? So if you try to run it again, it will not delete. It says up to date. It's already deleted. It's already deleted. Okay, so that's delete action. Come down. Now you know how you perform a typical resource and action, right? Now for you, I just want to give an assignment because everything, if I do it, I'll be getting practiced, but I want you to get in a hands-on. Okay, so what you can do it is, what are all the resources I mentioned here. Okay, this set of resources, please try to execute all of them by taking an exam. Go to the documentation and look at like the syntax and try to put it on a recipe and execute it. Then you will know how it is working. Now let me take one more one, a directory one. Okay, so this directory, I'll show you how it works. So okay, this is the directory one. Nothing guys, you just have to select it, and you know to select, actually it's a simple thing, directory, and give the path, do action, create. That's it. So let me open this hello.rb directory. I want to create a directory at home, vagrant, chef repo, something like abcd directory. I want to create it. Okay, so do end, and action is create. That's it. Okay, let's see whether it is really okay. I don't have abc directory here, and after executing this, it should create the directory. There's something wrong. Right, so I have to give a space after the action. Now I just created a directory, guys. If you want, you can check it out. Can you see abcd directory what I has given? So that's how the rest of remaining resources you can just look at the syntax and practice it, guys. Okay, so I don't want to spend time on explaining each and everything over here. You just go to the document and search for this and read the documentation and make use of it. Right. So this is all about the resources. Okay, resources and their action. So there's one more resource is there. I'll give you. See, now I talked about two resources. One is a file and directory. Let me talk something about package as well. So package is nothing but a kind of a service. It's a kind of a software. Like if you remember, there is no unzip command here. So what did I do, guys? Sudo yum install unzip something command. I ran it, right? Similarly, I want to install some software using the chef. Okay, so to do that, what you can do it, like there are some packages available default, so you can make use of those packages to install it. So hello.rb package http, that's it. It will download and install http server. If you want, you can just cross check it, and you can find what all the packages available. Actually, see the package syntax, you can see it. Actually, can you see package anywhere? Package, is it done? Okay, got it. So it should be in the single quotes. Look at this. It will try to install with the yum package only in the backend. Okay, did you understand why the error? You need to be root to perform because now you're trying to install some software. So with the help of the chef, see whether you do manually, whether you do with the chef, doesn't matter for your operating system. It requires the root access to install any software. So to install any software with the help of the chef, with like an example package, you have to make use of a sudo user. So put a sudo in front of it. Now it is installing. Can you see that? Right, it's successfully installed. How do you know whether it is really installed or not? You can cross check etc initd httpd. Can you see this status? It is installed. Okay, I don't have privileges, nothing, but I need to use the sudo user. So it is installed, but its service is not started. Okay, so I want to start the service. So starting a service, nothing but what? It's a service. So I have to use now another resource. So let me make use of another resource called service resource. Okay, you can find the document, the syntax for service resource somewhere here. What is it? Service. See, can you see service? This is another resource. Okay, so for service, he is giving Tomcat. Similarly, we can use HTTP here. So select this hello.rb. So that should be after the installation of package. You might be thinking we already installed it, can we remove it? You don't have to do anything. Once the software is installed, HTTP installed, it will not do it again repetitively if it exists. Now the service is HTTPD start. Action is start. So now you try to apply, it will start the service now. It is trying to install, but it's already installed. It will not do it again. Can you see up to date? Only the thing is what happened, it started a service. So starting a service is done. Now if you want, you can cross check whether it is really started or not. Status. Can you see HTTP is running? So this is how you can perform a recipe execution in your SDK machine wherever we have SDK. Okay, you can just see these are all basics, guys. Before you write big cookbooks and all. Okay, writing a recipe is something like framing up all your requirements one by one. Okay, and putting them together in a one file. Right. So I have explained you a package, a service, a directory, a file. Okay, the same concept. Now this time he wants to mix up all together. Okay, now this time I wanted to update a simple HTML file. Okay, and I want to access that. Okay, so how to do that? It's pretty simple. You're already doing it. Okay, only thing is once you install HTTP service, right, so it will be having a location called var www html. You have index.html here. Do you have index.html? Nothing. There is no index.html here. Okay, pwd. Now I want to put index.html here. Okay, so and this index.html you can access from your browser. Okay, so let's get to your chef repo and hello dot. Sorry. Okay, now instead of simple this hello.txt, now what I will do it at this path I want to create index.html. Okay, now in the content of the index.html I want to write something like this: html. I want to write a HTML content body because it's a web server, right? H1 hello DevOps guys, H1 body HTML, right? Now you try to apply this. So once you run that, right, you should be able to access 192.168.16.10. Can you see this? Hello DevOps guys. So the file index.html is there. See, you can type index.html or we don't type it, both should be fine because it's a default file, index.html. Okay. So it successfully written the text over there. So this is how you can just perform the basic things. Now this hello.rb is called your recipe. Guys, any questions still here? Were you able to follow? It's not like a programming language, guys. It's some instructions you are giving and you're running them together. Hemant and Jagan, were you able to follow? Is it easy to write? Chef recipes.
Yes, yes, sir. I can write.
Okay, so where are we? Where is my documentation? Yeah, now I said resources and their actions. I said chef apply. Where do we use to run the recipes? We use the chef apply. Now all these resources actions you put it on a recipes. Okay, and whatever the RB files we call as the recipes. Okay, 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys, got on a call. So yeah, this is what tell recipes. Now let's move on. Okay, chef apply is done. Okay, let's move on to the cookbooks. Now, what do you mean by cookbook? Is a managed way of recipes. Okay, what do you mean by managed way of recipes? Nothing but see, now you have one script. Okay, tomorrow, like you want to set up another software and you wanted to everything, you do not want to keep it in the one script file. Okay, you want to maintain some different script files. So a cookbook is something like a collection of recipes. If you want another way, collection of recipes, collection of recipes with some metadata. What is this metadata? I'll explain you. Okay, at this point of time you should understand what is a cookbook. Is a collection of recipes, n number of recipes together we make it into a one cookbook. Okay, and these cookbooks, what we will do it, we prepare in a workstation like in this kind of a machine. If you look at the architecture here, we prepare the cookbooks in a workstation. Then once we prepare the cookbook, we push it to the chef server. Okay, so once we push it to the chef server, then what we will do, we'll try to run the same cookbooks on the nodes. So this entire process we need to work on now. Okay, so guys, the same, I mean, whatever the stuff we stopped right now, I'll continue tomorrow. I'll explain you what is a how to prepare a cookbook, how to upload to the chef server, and how to run against a node. Okay, so that's what we need to understand. So before writing a cookbook, you should know what is the resource, what is the action, what is the recipe, what is the chef apply. So if you know all these things, then only I can move to the cookbooks writing and uploading them. Okay. So I'll stop for today. Tomorrow we'll try to start writing the cookbooks and uploading it. Okay. So I'm stopping for today, guys. We'll catch up tomorrow then. See you.